What we watch, Rach?
We watched The Princess Bride. Hello.
My name is Niga Montoya. You killed my father. I'm gonna drink.
That's not the line. I have only seen that movie once, but I'm pretty sure that's not how it goes.
That's not the line, no. So she's Rach and I'm George.
Hello.
This is Rach and George. Princess Bride stuff.
Can you believe I've seen this only now?
Yeah. I can. So, as she just said, she just watched this for the first time. As old high school friends, I'm the guy who, particularly when I'm drunk, is like, movies and things, and have you seen this? And I'm sure I've referenced this before.
Yeah.
I can't remember the first time it was revealed to me that you hadn't seen it, but I'm sure I was way less cool about it. I was probably just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, probably.
I've got this I'm trying to be more zen about it now, where I'm just like, oh, you haven't seen this movie? You're so lucky. You get to see this movie. Like,
yeah, that's true. You know that about me by now. So.
Every once in a while I meet someone who hasn't seen Fight Club, and that used to drive me nuts. But now I'm just like, okay, if I could go back in time and not, like, because I don't remember how I felt when that twist happened. Like, I so know what happens in that movie. Like, to go back and see it for the first time would be amazing.
See, that's also awesome about my memory. I don't remember movies very well, so sometimes I still get to experience the twist again and again. So,
we watched The Princess Bride. Great movie. She cried. I cried.
Let's not talk about that.
Well, I'm going to talk about at the beginning. So, the movie, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. Holy shit. Spoilers, but go watch it. The movie's like 30 years old.
Just watch it.
The movie opens up with a little boy who's sick. Fred Savage, #Wonder Years. And monsters.
Little monsters.
Little monsters.
That's what I watched in my house.
He's sick, and his grandfather comes over to read him a book. And then we go in. The movie is the visualization of that book. And we meet these two characters, Buttercup and Wesley, the farm boy. And she's such an asshole to him. All she enjoyed was riding her horse and being mean to the farmer's boy.
How the hell did they fall in love?
Well, because she would ask him to do stuff, and he would always say, as you wish. And then one day she realized that when he was saying, as you wish, what he was really saying was, I love you. And then she realized that not only does he love her, but she loves him too. I don't know. She's pretty and he's pretty and they love each other.
Yeah.
But anyway, they have to split up for the movie to happen. And they have a very, very, very sweet scene where she's like, I'm just worried that you're going to be gone. And Wesley immediately is amazing and one of the best romantic leads ever. And he's like, he says, that'll never happen. We're always going to come back to you. I'll always come back to you. And she's, how do you know? And he goes, this is true love. What do you think, this happens every day? Stop it. Stop it. So that's what she lost it. So, he goes off and is killed by pirates. And the little boy who's like, we can hear their narration every once in a while, the little boy and the grandfather. And the little boy's like, ugh, kissing, this is stupid. When's it get good? And then, the narrator is like, Wesley was killed by pirates. And the little boy's like, killed by pirates is good. And you're on the couch like, fuck you, kid.
No, seriously, fucking young Fred Savage. He's sitting there in like a super sports decked out room.
It's so
he's
80s.
A Chicago Bears jersey.
Yeah.
And like he's just a total little jock.
The first shot of this movie confused you so much. The first shot of this movie, it's a close-up on a television screen showing like an Atari or like a Nintendo baseball game. And she was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
I thought this was a fantasy movie.
I had no idea how it started.
And it pulls out, and obviously in Nitty's room. And the grandfather shows up, and I got you a present. And the kid's like, holy shit, what is it? Open it. And he opens it. It's a book. And the grandfather is like, yeah, it's a book. When I was your age, television was called books. The grandfather's Peter. The grandfather's played by Peter Falk, who was Columbo. He's really funny.
Oh, that's where I know him from.
Yeah.
Coolest grandfather ever.
The woman, Buttercup, the princess, is Robin Wright Penn, who most of you will know from House of Cards.
Or just Robin Wright.
Well, yeah, okay, she was Robin Wright Penn for most of the 90s because she married Sean Penn.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
She married Sean Penn. So most of you will know her from House of Cards. She was also in Forrest Gump. She played Jenny. The main character of Wesley is, what's his name? Cary Elwes, who is the dude in Saw who cut his foot off. Spoilers. And he was also, of course, Robin Hood from Robin Hood Men in Tights. Anyway, so the movie is about her, and she's been chosen to be married to the prince because he can choose whoever he wants, so she's the Princess Bride. And then she's kidnapped by 3 people.
Yeah, that's right.
Who are the 3?
Oh,
you don't even get their names.
There's a giant.
Yes.
His hands are huge.
He is 7 feet tall.
Is that like
9 feet tall.
him and?
Oh yeah, he's a fucking Andre the Giant. You know the Obey?
Yeah, I saw that on the credits.
Yeah.
Andre the Giant.
You know the Obey thing? It's like a street art thing, like Banksy.
Oh yeah.
Andre the Giant's face.
Oh, I'd have to look it up again.
The character in the book was described as being like 10 feet tall and all this stuff, and there's only one guy who could ever play that part, and he's dead now. But he was...
So that's him, like no
modification. No modification. 9.5 feet, 9.5 feet tall.
Not really 9.5, that's an exaggeration.
Whatever, he's tall as shit.
Yeah.
He would drink beer by like fucking gallons and not feel drunk. There's a great story about Andre the Giant, who's the nicest guy on the planet. And the story goes that a very famous action star in the 80s had dinner with him. And every single time they had dinner, Andre the Giant would always pay, because that's what he does. You have dinner with Andre the Giant, he pays. So this one time, the action star sneaks away and goes to tip the maitre d' and says, hey, I want to pay for dinner. And as he's talking, he's lifted off the ground. And Andre the Giant says, hey, I pay. Which is already an incredible story. And then you realize the action star I'm talking about was Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So that's the Giant. We also get a little man who's very smart. Wallace Shawn. Did you recognize him at all?
No. He looked really familiar, and he has this like really bad lisp.
Yeah. So the voice he's the T-Rex from Toy Story, and Toy Story 2 and Toy Story 3. Rex.
Okay.
That's his big claim to fame. Big 70s actor. He's been in Woody Allen movie too. And then we get...
Then there's what's his name?
Hello, my name is...
Roy, help you.
No. Inigo Montoya. Which is Mandy Patinkin. He was in not Deadwood. Dead Like Me, that show from Showtime back in the day. He's been in a bunch of shows. Whatever.
You killed my father, and now you will die.
That's not the line.
Damn it! How does it go?
Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Oh, well, I was very close.
Yes. So the three of them...
Those three, they steal her.
Yeah, they and we find out later on that, they say, we're going to kidnap her and we're going to plant some evidence on her to make it look like she was killed by this other country in order to start a war. Later on we find out that her fiancé planned the whole thing. He doesn't really want to get married, he just wants to start a war. Did you miss that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the...
He was a shithead from the beginning.
Such an asshole, and I could tell, but I didn't know exactly why.
So the prince is Prince Humperdinck, played by Chris Sarandon, who is Robert Sarandon.
Susan?
Susan Sarandon's brother. So the three of them kidnap her, and then in the middle of the night, they notice somebody's following them. Some faceless, well, he's got a mask on, this man in black. And,
you forgot the part about the eels.
They're in the water, and there's some eels. And she jumps to, like, escape. And Vicini with his lisp is like, you hear that, princess? That's the sound of the shrieking eels.
Why would she want to, like, run away from... Well, I guess she doesn't know those guys, and they're going to do bad things to her. But why would she want to run back to her fiancé?
Because at that point, I don't think she knew. When she assumed Wesley was dead, like, it's better than being on a boat, I guess. I don't know. So action can happen.
Yeah.
So she doesn't die, and they rescue her from the eels. And they climb these cliffs, and the man in black finally shows up.
Not just any cliffs, they're the cliffs of
insanity. The cliffs of insanity, which it's a pretty cool effect. Similar to Return to Oz, this movie's packed with wonderful visual... It's a big, huge fantasy movie.
Good sets.
But, like, great set design, great production design. So, Vicini, Wallace Shawn, and the giant Fezzik, they run off with the princess, and they're like, Spaniard, you kill him with your sword. And the Spaniard's like, okay, but I'm going to do it with my left hand, because there's no joy in it for me. It's going to go too quick if I don't use my left hand. So the guy comes up, and immediately, as soon as the close-up of the guy's face with the mask on, you were like, aha!
I knew it! I was gonna call it earlier when he was climbing up the cliff, but I didn't want to be wrong.
So he's climbing up the cliff, and Inigo Montoya at the top is like, hurry up, I want to fight you, because he's anxious to have a fight. And the guy on the wall is like, no, wait your turn.
Yeah.
And he says, like, well, I could throw a rope down to you, but I don't think you'd take it. Because I couldn't trust you. And the guy's like, you're right, I can't trust you. What if I swear that I will not kill you? Sorry. And he's like, alright, I swear on my father, somebody Montoya. And the man in black's like, alright, throw me the rope. I trust you, I guess, based on that. And they come up, and they start fighting, and they have this discussion where we hear the backstory, where Inigo Montoya says, you see this sword? My father was the best sword maker. He made this sword for a six-fingered man. Mm-hmm. And when the man came to get the sword, he offered my father 1/10 the original price, and my father refused to sell it to him. So, without even hesitating, the man with 6 fingers killed my father, and then sliced my face up. Since then, I've devoted my life to revenge. And the man in black says, well, I guess we can fight now. And the guy's like, are you ready? Are you not tired? And he's like, whether I'm ready or not, you've been more than fair. And Inigo says, you seem a decent fellow. I hate to kill you. And the man in black says, you seem a decent fellow. I hate to die. Mm-hmm. and they have their sword fight.
They're both starting with their left hands.
And they're both starting with their left hands, which leads into this awesome story from my personal life. So they fight, and Inigo Montoya, they're chatting about this style and that style. Man, you're really good. And Inigo Montoya is losing. He's being backed up towards a cliff, and he says, you're better than me. And the man in black says, why are you smiling? Because I know something you don't know. I am not left-handed. And he switches to his right hand and keeps fighting. So, back in my early 20s, me and my friends used to have sword fights with brooms because I was drunk and I enjoyed doing that even when I was younger. So I brought it back. It was me and my buddy Charlie and my friend Kevin, who we've talked about, and Nick was there as well.
Okay.
And we're in the garage and we're sword fighting, and Charlie is not the best at physical things. So at one point, I'm like, oh my god, there's a rare opportunity here, and I subtly switched to my left hand, and he did get better. And I was like, all right, man, and people are watching. You're doing really good, man. I gotta say, like, this is pretty good. And he's like, thanks, yeah, I'm learning. And I was like, but unfortunately, I know something you don't know. And he went, what? And I was like, I am not left-handed. And I fucking went in for it. And Nick from over there was like, holy shit! Because he got the reference, like, oh my god!
Of course Nick did.
Yes. So that's what happens. Of course, the man in black wins the fight, but doesn't kill him. The Spaniard, Inigo, is like, kill me quickly. I want to see my father again. The guy's like, I would sooner shatter a stained glass window than destroy someone like yourself. But I can't have you follow me, and he knocks him out.
Knocks him on the head.
Next, he fights the giant, and the giant is supposed to just like hide behind a rock and then throw a big boulder at him. And the giant's like, that's not very sportsman.
It's not very honorable.
So right away, these three bad guys, two of them at least, you're like, these seem like nice guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the man in black rounds a corner, and a boulder hits right here. It's like, holy shit. And Fezzik's like, I did that on purpose. I could have killed you. And he's like, I believe you. So they decide to fight, no weapons, no boulders, they're just going to fight hand to hand. And the whole time Fezzik is getting his ass kicked, he's still very jovial and friendly. Knocks the guy out, doesn't kill him, and runs off to catch Vicini. And this is where we get one of the other big famous scenes, which is this cup is poisoned, this cup is poisoned, who's going to get the poison, me or you?
Pretty classic battle of wits.
Classic battle of wits. And that's where we get Wallace Shawn's big standout scene where he's like, you, being a smart man, clearly know that this poison's what it is, so I can't choose the cup in front of me. But you must have known that I was smart enough, so I clearly can't choose the cup in front of you. And they keep doing that for a while.
Makes sense.
And
logical argument.
It ends with the man in black saying, you're just stalling. You don't know where the poison is. And the guy's like, I do know where the poison is. In fact, holy shit, what's that? The man in black looks and he switches the cups. And they drink. And the man in black's like, you lost. And Wallace Shawn's like, no, I didn't. I switched the cup. You made the biggest mistake. The second most well-known piece of knowledge, second only to never get into a land war in Asia, is this. Never go in with a Sicilian when death is on the line. And then he starts laughing and keels over dead.
Yeah.
And how did he do it? He built up a tolerance to the poison.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
So I could feel you I was sitting on this couch, she was over here. I could feel the tension of her being like, oh my god, when is she gonna realize it's him? And he's a dick to her. Like he's dragging her, he's like, they're running through the woods and he hasn't taken his mask off and he's just really mean to her. Like, I've heard of you.
Yeah.
You hussy.
Yeah.
How long was your man dead before you married somebody else? And blah, blah, blah. And she tells the story, which is that it's been 5 years and I died that day, so fuck it. And then we find out that Wesley joined the crew and he said to Dread Pirate Roberts, please don't kill me. I have a woman back home who is so loyal and wonderful and amazing. But, Dread Pirate Roberts killed him anyway. And he's like, fuck you. Loyalty he talked of. Clearly you're not loyal. And then she's like, you can go ahead and die. And she shoves him off a thing. And as he falls down, he screams, as you wish. And she's like, holy shit, it's Wesley.
So she throws herself off after him.
Yeah, which I feel like that was your first moment to be like, what is up with this girl?
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about her. Buttercup.
So as this is going on, the prince is tracking them. He's a great tracker. He wants to get his bride back, or at least he wants to start his war. Where do they go next?
They go to the Fire Swamp.
Fire Swamp, which has 3 terrors. It's got the fire spurts.
There's like some quicksand.
Yeah.
And then there's a giant opossum.
The RUSs. Rodents of unusual size.
Ah, rodents, yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And it was in that sequence where you were like, I don't like her.
I don't. He was being attacked by an RUS, and she was just standing there like, oh, come on.
Do something!
I know, he's yelling at her, like, come on. She's got this huge thing in her hand. She's not using it. You could bonk him on the head.
Mm.
I think at one point she kind of like,
get off my shoes.
Yeah, like I think it was attacking her dress or something.
Mm.
But Wesley's getting mauled by it. Mm-hmm. And eventually, fortunately, he rolls it over into a fire.
Into a fire spurt, yeah.
Get off, you're hot.
So, fun
nice.
story about the fire spurts. At one point in this forest, her dress gets caught on fire. So Robin Wright penned, it was her first movie, everyone thought she was beautiful. Fun story is the writer of the movie, William Goldman, who also wrote the book, also wrote Maverick, he also wrote Butch and Sundance, All the President's Men, great writer. He's on the set that day, they were filming that. And everyone knows it's not real, and she's going to get caught on fire, and don't ruin the take. That's the big thing in movie making is don't ruin the take. So they're doing it, action, fire spurt, her dress gets caught on fire, and who should run into frame and go, holy shit, she's on fire, are you okay? But the writer of the movie. He was so entranced by her beauty and her aura. Anyway, so they make it through the swamp, but who's waiting for them but the prince? And the prince is like, give me back. Well, there's a great moment where the prince says, surrender! And Wesley's like, oh, you want to surrender to me? I accept. And it was in that fire swamp sequence where you're like, I don't like her at all, but clearly he's a god.
Oh,
Wesley is the man, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, so charming, skilled, he's very beautiful.
Yeah.
She does say at one point...
And he's witty.
Yeah, and she does say at one point, she's describing him, she's like, Wesley was my love. He had eyes like a storm, what'd she say? He has eyes like the sea during a storm. His like, gray eyes. So Prince shows up and he's like, I'm gonna kill you motherfuckers. And Buttercup sees their archers that are ready to kill them. So Wesley's like, fuck you, you can't have her. We're gonna have this out. But she says, no. If you promise not to hurt him, I'll go with you, which she's done.
Yeah, but she was like, I've already lost you once. I can't bear losing you again.
I can't bear losing you again. So she gets taken off, and Wesley gets carted off to the pit of despair.
That guy was so funny. He's like the torturer guy.
Yeah, so Wesley's lying strapped to a table, and this like albino-looking dude with white hair and a fucked up nose comes down, and he's like dabbing at Wesley's wounds, and Wesley wakes up, he's like, where am I? And he goes, the pit of despair. Don't even bother. Don't even bother trying to escape.
Yeah, I know. Like they try to do the whole. Like I feel like people like that always or characters like that always have really weird voices.
And that's the thing. It's weird. Like I've heard a lot of people say that this is a spoof movie. It's usually categorized as more of a comedy than anything else. I've always thought it's just a really good love story that happens to have some humor and action in it. It's not exactly a spoof. Like it's more like Shaun of the Dead. Not a spoof of zombie movies.
Yeah.
But very much aware of the tropes.
It's no Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
No, not at all. Or Men in Tights, which is, as a kid I used to confuse this movie and Men in Tights, same actor, same kind of jokes. So then we get the scene that I was waiting for because I felt that you would relate to it. Buttercup gets married. The king dies, the prince marries Buttercup, and she's shown like she's, being revealed to her royal public, and everyone's kneeling. And then this old lady's like, boo! I feel like you could relate to that.
Why?
Because fuck her. And the lady even says, you had true love, and you threw it away. Turns out that's all a dream. The wedding is in 10 days. That's how long we have to the end. Fezzik and Inigo are off on their own. Inigo's gotten very, very drunk because he's lost and he's sad, and Fezzik finds him. And they find out that there is a six-fingered man, Count Rugen. We see that. They established that earlier. So now Inigo is like, holy shit, like we have to do a thing. My strength, or my skills in the sword, your strength, if only we had someone to plan for us. But wait, the man in black. If he could beat me with the sword and beat you with your strength, he must have bested Vizzini. We have to find him.
Yeah, but don't we know he's dead by that point?
Well, they're looking for him by that point. Then there's the scene where Princess Buttercup says,
she's gonna die. She's gonna
kill herself. Like after her nightmare, she says, like, look, here's the thing. I love him, so regardless, if you tell me I have to marry you, I'm gonna be dead by the morning. So the prince makes her a deal and says, write a letter. We'll send it out in our 4 ships. And if he comes back for you, that's great. If he doesn't, consider me as an alternative to suicide, which is the one time I like that character. That's a nice line. And after that scene where she's so like, I love him so much, fuck you. The prince runs in a rage down to the pit of despair into this torture machine. The six-fingered man has invented a torture machine that he loves. He's into torture, where it's got these notches, 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 50, and each notch will take away 1 year of your life. That's what's going on. So the prince comes down and he's like, why does she love you? I hate you so much. And he knocks the machine up to 50, and Wesley lets out this howl that the whole kingdom hears. And that's when Inigo is like, holy shit, you hear that sound? That's the sound of utter despair. My heart made that sound the day my father was killed, and now the man in black makes it because his love is marrying someone else. So that leads into the general vicinity of where he is. They find the secret tree.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
Like the sword.
And Inigo talks to his sword, and he's like, Father, guide my blade. You know, like a divining rod. And he walks into a tree, and he's like, shit, thunk. And that hits the secret thing and opens the door. But he's dead. Wesley is dead. And then it cuts back out to the little kid and the grandfather, and the kid's like, wait a minute, what? He's dead? That's not right. Come on. And the grandfather is like, do you want me to read this or not? It's like, okay, but like, who gets Prince Humperdinck? What do you mean? Who kills him? Is it Inigo? He doesn't die. Sorry, nobody kills him. Well, and that's the line where he's like, Jesus, Grandpa, what'd you read me this for? Which I kind of, in that line, I very much felt like the grandfather, and I felt like you felt like the kid. Because at the beginning of the movie, I felt so bad that it made you cry. I was like, I'm feeling, Jesus, George, what the fuck are you thinking? I had the best intentions.
I understand. I get it.
So it cuts back into the scene, and they drag the dead body off to Miracle Max, played by a very heavily made up Billy Crystal. And his wife is also heavily made up as Carol Kane, who, by the way, was in Annie Hall. She was his first wife.
She was his first wife.
The one where he's like, they're making out in bed, and he's like, I can't stop thinking about it. The JFK assassination, it's obsessing me. And she's like, you're using this conspiracy theory as an excuse not to have sex with me.
Oh.
Yeah, her. Okay. So, anyway. So, Billy Crystal, this is Billy Crystal, I'm a Jew shtick. He talks about an MLT, mutton with lamb, when the mutton's really lean. And he's mad at Prince Humperdinck. Prince Humperdinck fired him. And there's all these like, I'm only going to do a miracle for a good cause. And it's, he's dead. No, he's mostly dead. And they pump air into his lungs and push in his stomach. And his, Billy Crystal's like, hey, in there. What's such a good reason? Why do you have to be alive? And he goes, true love. I'm like, see, what better reason? It's like, no, he said to blave. But finally, they find out that if you bring him back to life, he's going to fuck up Prince Humperdinck. Mm-hmm. He's like, wait a minute, if I bring him back, Humperdinck suffers? There's a good cause. So they give him this chocolate pill that'll bring him back to life, but they need to wait 15 minutes for full potency, but the climax is coming, so they can't. So they bring him back to life, and he can only move his eyes for a little while, make it a little bit of Weekend at Bernie's.
There's one part, where like he's trying to like high five, so he goes,
so at this point, Buttercup knows that the deal she made is a lie.
Yeah.
She's like, the prince is like, we haven't heard back from Wesley yet, and or the prince, whatever, the pirate. But don't worry, because tomorrow we'll be wed, and I'll take the whole fleet, our whole armada out on our honeymoon. And she's like, all but that one ship, right? And he's like, he's like, what?
Yeah.
The ship you sent to, oh, right. And she's like, you didn't send it at all. I'm going to kill myself right now. Like, that's her big move, the whole movie, is to kill herself. As a little boy who's been seeing this movie since he was 9, didn't realize what an ineffectual twit Buttercup is until watching it with a girl.
I have some words on that.
Yeah, so we'll get to our final thoughts when we're done with the plot synopsis. So anyway, the wedding happens. We get the fucking famous scene where the guy's like, marriage!
What the fuck was up with that?
Marriage is what brings us together today. And love, true love. The three of them, Inigo, Fezzik, and the man in black, Wesley, storm the castle. They split up. Inigo runs into the six-fingered man and gets stabbed in the fucking gut with a knife.
I thought it was over. I thought he wasn't going to get to get his revenge.
And Prince Count Rugen's his name, the six-fingered man. He's like, wait a minute, you spent your whole life chasing me and now you're going to die? That's the most horrible thing I ever heard. Awesome. But then we get the scene where I teared up, where Inigo fucking hurls him, like just slowly pulls himself up, and the guy goes to stab him, but he deflects it, it stabs into his shoulder, and again into his arm, and then he starts getting his strength back, and he's like, hello, you killed my father, my name is Dementor, you killed my father, better die. And they fight, and at the end of it, he like flicks the sword away and stabs him in the gut, stabs him in the arm, and cuts his face, and he's like, offer me money. And the guy's like, yes, all the money you want, and power too, promise me I'll have everything. Yes, anything you want, offer me whatever I want. Anything you want in the world, I will give you if you'll spare my life. And Inigo goes, I want my father back, you son of a bitch. And fucking tears. Not tears, but like I was like, oh, yeah. Yes, revenge, vengeance. As a little kid, I was like, they're in love. As an adult, I'm like, kill that motherfucker.
Yeah.
Cut his fucking head off. So that's going on. Also, Wesley and Fezzik have separated. Wesley still can barely move.
How did he end up in her room?
Dragged himself, I'm guessing.
Okay.
So, Buttercup is with the king, who's very old and dottery, and she gives him a little kiss on the cheek, And he's like, what was that for? And she's like, because you've been very kind to me and I'm going to die now. I'm going to go kill myself right now. And he's like, oh, okay. That'll be nice. She kissed me. She goes into a room, she gets a knife out, and she starts to do the thing, and from behind her she hears, what's the line? There's a shortage of perfect breasts in the world. It'd be a shame to ruin yours. It's like, yeah, what a badass. And there he is in the bed, and she makes out with him, and he can't hold her because he's wounded. And he's like, gently. She's like, all you can see is gently, and she lifts his head up and then drops it back onto the fucking thing. Then the prince shows up, and we get maybe the most badass thing in the whole movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Right? The prince is like, we're gonna fight to the death. And Wesley's like, no, to the pain. What is to the pain?
Is it like, he's like, I'm going to strike your eyes out. And
well, it starts with...
I don't remember the whole thing.
It starts with cut your feet off at the ankles, hands off at the wrists.
Okay.
And the guy's like, oh, okay, I get it. Then I guess my tongue is next. Let's fight. He's like, no, I'm not through. After your tongue, I'm gonna gash out your left eye, then your right. And he's like, oh, I guess my ears.
Oh, yeah.
I guess my ears will be next. And Wesley says...
He's like, because every time that you walk through and everyone sees how grotesque you are, and every time a woman shrieks at the side of you...
Dear God, what is that thing?
Yeah, like...
You're going to keep your ears.
You can feel the pain.
You can hear...
Something. You'll be in anguish your whole life.
And that is to the pain.
Yeah.
And the bad guy, Humperdinck, is like, I think you're bluffing. And Wesley, who's been on the bed the whole time, just prone, but looking almost directly into the camera...
Yeah.
Is like, maybe you're right. Maybe I'm bluffing. Maybe I don't have the strength to move. But then again, and he stands up like a fucking badass and points his sword directly into the camera, and he's like, drop your sword.
Yeah, I've never seen a dude look so scared.
Yeah. And he's like, click! And then he's like, sit over there, and he like picks up his fucking robes. And but it turns out he was bluffing because, you know, he's still fucked up. Then they tie him up, they let him live with his misery, and they all escape. And the whole movie, every time Buttercup and Wesley are gonna kiss, Fred Savage is like, stop it! Kissing is lame, it's stupid. And the grandpa's like, alright, fine. So the book, they're reading the thing, and they all rode off to freedom. Buttercup and Wesley knew they were safe, and as the morning rose, and they're about to kiss, and it cuts back to the bedroom, and the grandpa's like, never mind, he closes the book. And the kid's like, wait, what? It's kissing again, you wouldn't like it. Well, just this once.
It wasn't really the first time they kissed in the whole movie.
No, it wasn't, but that was the first time we really get to let the thing happen.
Oh, okay.
I think they kissed 3 times in the movie. They kiss, at the beginning, they kiss when they were reunited.
Yeah.
And then Fire Swamp, and then at the end. So the grandpa's like, alright, I'll read you the ending. And it's like, no, in the history of the universe, since the invention of the kiss, there have been 5 all-time greatest kisses. Kisses so pure, so loving, this one blew them all away. And it ends with the grandpa saying, that's, the end. Thanks, Grandpa, I'm going to go to sleep now. And then the grandpa's going to leave, and Peter Falk's like, alright, okay. Just doing his grandfather shit. And he's about to leave, and the kid's like, Grandpa, yeah? Maybe you want to come back and read it to me tomorrow? And the grandfather says, as you wish, which is a really beautiful ending. So that's the thing. I was telling Rachel that in the book is written from the perspective of William Goldman, whose father, the idea is, he made the whole thing up. But the idea is his father, William Goldman's father, told him the story. But he would cut the boring parts out in order to make make the story feel faster. And you had a comment. So the camera overheated again. So we're just going to wrap it up. We were talking about, how the women characters in this movie, or particularly Buttercup, are treated pretty low. When you were complaining about it in the swamp where she wasn't doing anything,
yeah,
I was going to say, it is like she's a princess. It's not like she's trained to do anything but look pretty.
That's true. You're right. They've raised this girl. The whole character developed by him doing everything for her. Yeah.
It doesn't excuse it, but
I just personally don't understand that and can't relate.
Yeah. You're not that gal.
No, not at all.
So we're going to wrap it up quick before the fucking camera dies again. My question for you is, I grew up with this movie. I've seen it a zillion times. As a kid, I was a little boy. I was like, a Princess Bride, and then you watch sword fights and jokes and whatever. Awesome. But you somehow missed it, because your family is stupid. Nah.
We just had other
Well, the thing is, you've got 3 older brothers?
Yeah.
She had 3 older brothers, and they somehow didn't show her this movie. I'm like, that's their fault. Anyway.
I don't know.
As an adult watching for the first time, what was your take on the movie?
I thought it was really fun.
It moves quick. It's only like a 95-minute movie, so it's a real quick story.
Yeah, absolutely. It's full of action the whole time. I like all of the little quips that I probably wouldn't have gotten when I was little anyways, and all the little jokes.
Mm-hmm. Obviously you care about the romance, even though she's kind of a lame character.
Yeah. It's cute, mostly just because I like Wesley so much.
Wesley's great. Wesley's the ideal.
Yeah.
And yeah, Carrie always for the win. Any criticisms for it besides?
Not really. I would watch it again,
Yeah.
but I wasn't like, oh my gosh, I love it.
Do you think you would have, like, that's the part of it. It's like watching it with her, which she didn't laugh as much as I thought she would. But like, I realized like, well, shit, I've got such nostalgia, and I saw it when I was like 9.
Yeah.
So it's like, a lot of the jokes in here are very much like, it's very much a family-friendly movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Pixar level good, where like the kids and adults will enjoy it on equal measure. It's more towards the kids, I suppose. But like, it's still clever enough, witty enough, and the sword fighting is amazing in it. So, do you think if you had seen it as a kid, it would be right up there with like Goonies and Return to Oz and all that stuff?
I don't know.
It's not as fucked up as
No.
Goonies and Return to Oz.
Not at all.
I mean,
so
they do
maybe
kill
not.
I take that back. They do kill the guy.
Yeah.
Which as a kid, that must have been pretty like, holy shit, he's dead. Like even in the movie, they're like, wait a minute, Grandpa, he's dead. Like you
Which
can't.
guy?
Wesley.
Oh yeah.
He does die for a little while.
Yeah. I don't know.
Did you think?
It's hard to say. I liked weird movies when I was a kid.
Yeah.
This one might have been too goofy for me actually.
Yeah.
I liked really serious movies when I was little.
Did you? I mean, yeah, the one with the no chickens.
Yeah.
Chickens.
I liked dramatic movies, and I think I liked all the emotions of it. And this one had emotions, but there were
It was an
other
undercurrent of goofiness.
there were other better romance movies, I guess, to watch.
Sure.
Because I was so into romance when I was 8 years old.
Yeah, I mean that's princesses and stuff. Did the I forgot to ask this too. I was gonna mention during the ROUS scene that worked
yeah.
through size. So it's clearly just a guy in a suit. It's very cheesy looking, but like to me, to my eye, maybe it's just nostalgia. Like that is so much better than like if they made it now and made a big CGI thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Like it looks,
I agree.
it's so not real.
It reminds
but
me-
the thing is, CGI is not real either. But like, they're really wrestling on the ground.
Yeah.
There are teeth. There's a tongue that
Yeah.
moves. Like
It
it's
was-
a
I
really
liked
good
it.
puppet.
It was a good ode of the 80s.
Totally.
Like, it kind of reminded me of the Labyrinth, that part. And the sets were so great.
The sets are gorgeous.
But I didn't like that part in the fire swamp, where he knew he was like taking her away from the fire. They were,
Well,
like,
there's a
twirling.
noise. There's a sound effect. There's a
Oh,
pop,
okay.
pop, 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 pop every time it's about to happen.
Okay.
So he hears it, and the thing is, I see your point. You think she would have figured out, like, oh, there's a noise, maybe I shouldn't stand here?
Yeah.
She's not wrong. This movie's a little sexist.
A
a little bit. The Princess Bride, with lots of sword fighting and guys saving the day.
It's definitely a romance movie, like fantasy movie, geared towards little boys.
Little boys, yeah. And that measure I think works really well. If you haven't seen it, see it. It's a really quick watch. If you haven't read the book, you too. It's a really fun read. It's a lot more smart-ass, a lot more adult. Also, like, the themes of revenge and love are way hammered in here, so it's
Cool.
all around just kind of a better telling, I think. It's, as you can tell, it's pretty thick for like a 95-minute movie. There's a lot of stuff in here. But it's a really good read. The last thing I'll say before I get to my final thoughts is the director is Rob Reiner. I think it was like his third movie. He made Spinal Tap, The Sure Thing, and then Princess Bride, none of which were super big hits, but he became the guy who did the best King adaptations. He did Stand By Me, which is based on a Stephen King story, and he did Misery, which is based on a Stephen King story, and the writer, William Goldman, wrote Misery. So this team up of William Goldman and Rob Reiner, good stuff. They made a lot of good movies together. Fuck. I'll finish later. So, the camera overheated again. All we had left was my final thoughts. What's happened since, Rach?
George did a power hour and we played Mario Party 2, and we both lost.
Yes.
And how many drinks did you have?
So, the power hour went to 40 shots, but I did 2 beers, and then the rest of it was mead, and the last shot was tequila.
So 40 minutes of that.
So I'm,
He's real little drunk right now.
yeah. And I thought it'd be fun to end. Yeah, we're recording. I thought it'd be fun to end this one by you asking me some questions about what we watched.
We watched The Princess Bride.
I almost said like I thought it'd be fun to end with you asking me questions about Perks of Being a Wallflower. We didn't watch that today. Ask me some questions about Princess Bride to wrap this up.
Who's your favorite character and why?
Inigo Montoya. Because he's this drunk, like we don't see it, but like it's mentioned that before the movie begins, he was found a drunk loser who dedicated his life to one thing but couldn't get it done. I don't know why, but I relate to that.
crazy.
That's Inigo Montoya. And he gets his revenge, and it's awesome. It made me tear up. So that's that question.
Yeah. What is your favorite line from the movie?
I mean, of course, I'm partial to my name. Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. That's up there. I also really like Billy Crystal's "Have fun storming the castle." That's really good. Honestly, though, I'm gonna go with "As You Wish."
Yeah.
But not when the two love interests say it. I love the grandfather at the end saying "As You Wish" because it's beautiful.
That is such a sweet story that they have entwined in it, and how they're telling the story because he's there because his grandson is sick. It's really cute.
I don't know if you caught it before we started watching the movie. I asked you some question about you want a beer, you want a thing. And you're like, no, I'm good. And I went, "As you wish."
Oh, I didn't notice that at all.
I love her. She's awesome. I love her so much.
What do you think now that I've explained some of my feminist views on this movie?
There's some problems. I didn't see. It's honestly, weirdly enough, it reminds me of Django Unchained. Have you seen?
Long time ago.
Django Unchained is a very similar thing where it's dudes saving a girl. And I've heard the complaint a lot of time that Broomhilda, Kerry Washington's character, is just a nothing. She's just a nothing female princess in a Catholic character.
It's kind of just they're there for all the other things to happen.
And for Django, I think it's okay, because that movie's, let's go save the princess is kind of the plot at a certain point. It's not a romance. We know they're in love.
Yeah.
For this one, it would be, again, I saw it as a kid, so I didn't think about girls as a realistic thing. They were just, the other thing. As an adult, I'm yeah, okay, what I realistically, for you, it's easy. Do you like Wesley?
Yeah, I do.
Do I like Buttercup? Not really. She's really passive and lame, and she's all about suicide. Her big line in the whole movie is, "I'm gonna kill myself," and her other big line is, "Wesley will save me." So yeah, I mean, that you didn't ruin the movie for me, but sure.
You see it from a new point of view. That's nice.
I do.
I'm glad I can enlighten you there. What about because you mentioned before that they found Robin Wright because they were just so blown away by her beauty, and so clearly that's all they were looking at, right?
I mean, that's the character. If you read the book, I mean, she's got a little more going on in the book, but that's the character is she's the most beautiful girl in the world.
Yeah.
And she just happens to be a peasant, and the prince chooses her.
You know what I would equate to her? Princess Peach.
I mean, Peach can fly.
Can she though?
In Mario 2, she can fly.
She can't fly any other time. You hardly ever get to control Peach.
Okay.
You hardly ever get to control her.
Every group game like Mario Party, Smash, Mario Golf, Mario Tennis, you can. And she's pretty bitchin' in Mario Smash.
Alright.
I mean, I still hate her. She's a cunt. But... Any more?
No.
Okay, so my final thoughts. I love this fucking movie. The screenplay is great. William Goldman's a hero of mine. He's written a couple of books called On Writing. That's Stephen King. His first book was called Adventures in the Screen Trade. That's William Goldman. His second book was called Which Lie Did I Tell? More Adventures in the Screen Trade. And they're phenomenal little memoirs about all the movies he worked on. So I love William Goldman. He's written some of my favorite films like Misery and Butch and Sundance, which is a great movie. Fucking so good. The girl
Sundance Kid.
Well,
that one.
Okay, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kids.
Okay, I know a lot of Sundances, so I was just trying.
The girl on that movie is a little bit of a prop as well, but I love the movie. It's again the '80s kid in me is just look at all the real stuff.
Yeah.
Sets and effects and creatures and makeup. And
I love that.
I love all that, and the romantic in me is just he said it at the beginning. This is true love. How often do you think that happens? Even the villain at one point says, you two may have had a chance because you really love each other. And one couple in a century is that lucky. So, the romantic in me is yes, love, 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 love. So, yeah, I love the movie. It's, beyond being a childhood favorite, it holds up as an adult. I'm a little bit bummed out now because
don't be bummed out.
Buttercup is nothing.
No, but that was in the 80s. Things have changed now.
I know, but watching the movie, I'm still who I am, and I always love Buttercup. She's great. When I watch it now, I'm just boo, boo, as that
ghost.
As that witch did. Boo is a ghost. I was so close to winning in Mario Party. I had 4 stars. 4 stars, and that asshole Ouija stole 2 of them. God damn it.
But he did. Bowser stole one from you too. You want to play Mario Kart now?
Fuck. Yeah, I'll play Mario Kart and redeem myself. Because I think I'm at that right level of drunk where it's like, yeah.
I'm 100% sober, so.
Well, I'm not going to play with the wheel.
Okay.
So that'll help.
We never do.
I mean, I do have. I'm trying. I want to learn. That's
Yeah.
Hashtag 2016 goals, play with the wheel. So I guess that's all for this episode of Rach and George. Split into 3 videos because my goddamn camera keeps overheating. Because, hey, it's fucking hot.
It's August in Texas.
It's pretty warm outside.
Yeah.
Even the dog is just, I don't know if you can, it's all...
Oh, it's all over my shirt.
It's just all fur and... Anyway, you liked it?
Yeah.
You want to watch again?
I will. Someday.
So, she doesn't edit the videos. It's all on me to, like, edit it and put it up. And I always put, like, next time, whatever the fuck I feel like watching.
Oh.
In fact, for the Annie Hall one I wrote, next time, Annie Hall, and Princess I wrote, maybe, if she's okay with it.
Oh.
Do you have a thing? Do you want to do Monsters Little People thing?
Not really anymore.
Iron Man?
Maybe.
Iron Man?
Maybe.
Iron Man.
Maybe. I kind of really want to watch the Before Sunset movies.
Ooh.
Can we do those 3?
All 3?
I've already seen the second one.
Are we going to skip it?
I don't
It's kind of
know.
against the rules.
I guess we can rewatch it again.
It's short.
Yeah.
Alright, so next time on Rach and George, we're going to do Before Sunset, the first of the Before trilogy.
That'll be good.
Yeah.
It'll be
Ethan
fun.
Hawke, 2 Delby. So yeah, go watch The Princess Bride. Look at the title is reversible.
That's pretty fucking cool.
Isn't it though?
And it's a mirror.
Because over here you got them as you know, when they
Kids,
met, and over
and
here,
then-
yeah.
They can't see what we see though. They can go look it up. Just put it.
No, I got it.
The video.
So if you look, see there's a couple up here and the couple down here. And if you flip it, the title is reversible, kind of like that. Which do you see, a lamp or Batman? So, anyway. I'm drunk, and you killed my father. Prepare to die. And that's... Who are you? What's your name?
I have 6 fingers.
What's your name?
I'm Rachel.
That's Rachel. See you next time on Rach and George. Watch the Before Sunrise trilogy. And all the sadness that accompanies that.
It's necessary right now.
Na-na-na-na-na-na. Wah.
Bye. He's amazing. I'm so glad I got to see him live.
Who'd you see live?
Travis Barker.
Right on.
Greatest drummer. One of the best.
Greatest drummer.
One of the best drummers.
John Bonham, Neil Peart, Keith Moon, and Travis Barker.
Hell yeah. Hey, 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 your guts. George, you know it's only 4:38.
Yeah. Want to go do something?
No, I need the drinking.
Oh. Fuck you, Rachel.
Baby, oops, you think I'm in love. When I'm sent from above, I'm
not that innocent.